Never in the history of television has there been so much excitement surrounding a squirrel predicting the weather. That was from Groundhog Day, Bill Murray. Love that movie. I am in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, and I am here to actually hike the Mahoning Shadow Trail, which is named after Punxsutawney Phil. Well, after the shadow that Punxsutawney Phil sees. And I'm just kind of walking around Gobblers Knob quick, just to kind of show you guys what it's all about. Every February 2nd, like 2 o'clock in the morning, is when the festivity starts. Fireworks and partying is when our famous groundhog comes out of his burrow, and if he sees a shadow, then it's 6 more weeks of winter. If he does not, and then it calls for an early spring. That whole tradition started in Europe, where they had animals predicting the weather. In 1880s, a group of groundhog hunters and men started this group, the Groundhog Society, that started this tradition of pulling Punxsutawney Phil out of his burrow every February 2nd to predict the weather. So this is the main stage. This is where they do the official weather predicting ceremony every February 2nd. So that is Phil's burrow. You see that log's been around for a while. And all the people that have helped out the Groundhog Society. Here's the back end of the burrow. Look at the metal top. So back up the hill behind that, this is where all the press sits during the festivities. And back behind the main stage here is a trail that shows all kinds of neat memorabilia and artwork and stuff like that that people have kind of made in celebration of Groundhog's Day. So yeah, that's Gobblers Knob. If you're planning on coming up for Groundhog's Day, make sure that you plan early. I mean, like I said, hotels get booked. It's a little town, and yeah, it's crazy. Okay, so this next part needs a little explanation. So downtown Punxsutawney, there's a library, and at the library is Phil's burrow. Basically, that's where Phil, and I think there's a girl one in there too, but I don't know its name. That's where he hangs out for most of the year. So there was also some sort of beer festival thing going on. So I went to just go get some quick footage of the burrow, and there's no parking anywhere. So I parked quickly in a place I wasn't supposed to. Ran out, got the footage, ran back. That's why you hear the music in the background, and I'm kind of just rushing a little bit. The other thing was downtown, there's a whole bunch of giant groundhogs at most of the businesses. I showed you the one that's in front of the library, but there's a whole bunch. If you're ever in the area, you can kind of go around and explore, try to find them all. There's like a post office one at the post office, like a guy in a postman's uniform, and you know, pretty much, well, they're all dressed up to be like the businesses they're in front of. It's just like Boyertown. If you've ever been to Boyertown, Boyertown has the bears. There's, you know, fancy bears everywhere. So yeah, so anyway, this next little section is my little run to Phillsborough and back. So this is the Punxsutawney Library. This is where Phil stays, and if you can see, you can see him in the back there. They're having some sort of beer celebration today, and they have these groundhog statues everywhere. So this is the Mahoning Shadow Trail. It is a rail trail that runs through Punxsutawney. So we're gonna go for a little walk for a little bit. There's a cool little railroad bridge over the Mahoning Creek. Which looks low, just like any place else in Pennsylvania right now. Wow. You can definitely tell with the rail trail. You see the old ties cast along the side of the trail there. Squirrels are up and about, gathering for winter. Scared the piss out of me. Just walking. And the thing jumped from tree to tree right in front of me, and it scared the crap out of me. Luckily there's no one around to hear me shriek like a girl. So the Mahoning Shadow Trail is named after the Mahoning Creek, which it runs next to for the majority of its way. And the shadow comes from Punxsutawney Phil's shadow. So it's nothing ominous. So basically, they, you know, the thing where Phil sees a shadow every year. Anyway, the trail's named after a shadow, so that's why it's called the Mahoning Shadow Trail. So these are a bunch of coke ovens. You still see the brickwork inside there? There's a bunch of them kind of made into the bank here. So there was a coal mine around here. They actually called it the Eureka Mine because of how much coal they found in it. So what the coke ovens were for, so what they took the bituminous coal they had, and they burned it and converted it to coke. And what coke was a relatively clean burning fuel they used in the manufacturing of steel. So to make steel, the best way was to make coke. To make coke, you smelted them in these ovens. It's like old pylons for a bridge or something. Maybe a platform. I don't see anything across the river. Maybe it was a platform. Since they were making coal in all these ovens, or coke in all these ovens, there was probably a bunch of buildings and stuff back here too. But yeah, there's a bunch of them, all set back in the hillside here. Nate Williams Run. whole bunch of tiny little natives in there. A bunch of little native trout. They do have a little chill out benches along the way. So this is chicken of the woods. Layered porous, I don't know how to pronounce it. I just know the chicken of the woods. It's a mushroom that it's really edible. You can actually take it and saute it in butter and stuff like that, and they said it tastes well like chicken. That's why I call it chicken of the woods. I had it a long time ago in Scouts. It was pretty good. I don't know if I would lop it off of some random tree in the woods, but probably what we did, and we survived. But yeah, if you ever see it, it's very distinct. It's got that nice orange hue to it. So I'll walk back this little trail here. There's a thing back over here. Not quite sure what it is. Oh, I'm pretty sure it's a gauge house. Usually, or not. What the heck is it? Oh, that was a gauge house. Oh, it is a gauge house. Stream gauging system maintained by the United States Geological Service, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And they got a little cord going across the way there. That's weird. Little pulley system. Not quite sure what the heck that's for. But lots of pines. Very nice little trail. Love that. Rocks. Look, you can see the many layers and stuff, all these rock formations along the trail. I'm not sure if it's limestone. Kind of looks like limestone. Someone hang a Penn's flag. You can tell we're in western Pennsylvania. Haven't crossed the line into Flyers territory yet. So yeah, it's definitely a nice trail for an afternoon walk. It's a rail trail, so can't go wrong. I do like rail trails a little bit because I'm not constantly looking at my feet, seeing if I'm going to trip over something. I can look around and stuff like that, but yeah, it's definitely a trail that I'd, probably come back with one on my bike to do more of it. There's a field out here. Probably can't see it. I'll have to break out the other camera to zoom in. There is a ton of swallows flying around that field. I mean, 40, 50 swallows, so let's see if we can get it in the other camera. I was wrong, they are dragonflies. A cool little outcropping there. See how layered the rocks are holding up those trees. Shadow trail. I'm hiking the shadow trail. Oh, alright, bad joke. So the verdict is definitely dragonflies. I walked down this little trail past this open, past this house back here, and there was a couple of them flying around. I don't want to film stand in somebody's house and film it. But yeah, dragonflies. So there is like hundreds of dragonflies flying around that field back there. That's pretty cool. Very suburban now. Like after we cross Gressuk Road, there's houses kind of bordering each side here. Really nice houses, holy moly. Anyway, yeah, a little less shade. So I made it almost to the Fordham Road trailhead before I turned around. Still got a 4-hour ride home, so I don't think I'm gonna go any further than that. Don't want to get back at midnight. So, but yeah. So showed you a little bit of Gobblers Knob. Showed you a brief flash of the Punxsutawney library where Phil resides, and the Mahoning Shadow Trail. So yeah, check it out. If you like this video, you know, like, subscribe. You can, if you have any questions or comments or anything, feel free to email me, downhexhighway@gmail.com. You can follow me on Instagram. I don't know why I always say that. Instagram, Moxie79 on Instagram, or Downhex on Twitter. I post a lot of pictures and stuff on all those accounts. So yeah, see you in the next one.